Okay, we are live. Just need to update some settings here. See if we can put on the live tracking here. Okay, we are live now. And if you are new here, I'm just gonna give you a quick update on what this actually is. So I'm building Raven.gg here in public. I've been doing this for about 3 to 4 months, and once in a while I'll be live streaming, and normally I do that once per week. And basic what Raven is a venue agnostic, no code trading bot builder for prediction markets. So think of it as a trading bot, but instead of the stock market, it's for a prediction market like Polymarket. If you don't know what Polymarket is, you probably do, but if you don't, it's quite popular now. It's basically a prediction market that has binary outcomes. For example, you have the Bitcoin up and down. You can bet if it's gonna go up or down the next 5 minutes. You can also bet on something like esports. You can also bet on something like Iran war, you know, stuff like that. And a lot of the actually people that make money on this is not people that just randomly, you know, try to predict the future, but rather it's people that actually build trading bots. And what I'm building here is a framework and basically a strategy builder for trading bots. So I'm just gonna quickly give an introduction to this. So you can create a strategy like this. It's an interface, a UI, where you can build it like this. Right now we only have Polymarket venue, so you can select the venue. In the future there'll be more venues, and you can select the market selector here and connect them. So it's this drag and drop, kind of like in N8N. You can select between specific markets. You can also select active markets. Most people are going to select the active markets because it just runs basically forever. Right now we have 2 predefined markets like 5-minute or 15-minute, but you can also add whatever ID you want for specific markets. And yeah, then you can just build out a strategy given all these different conditions. You know, we have the order book, for example. You can get the bid price. We have candlesticks. We have moving averages. And we have tick size, price to beat. So for example, the price to beat is the price you see on the crypto page. So this price here. And we have external data. So we have the crypto price. So that's the live price for Binance, Chainlink, and all sorts of good stuff. Then you have different conditions and you have actions. So when do you want to buy? When do you want to sell? And right now, let me see if I can share some stats. So right now we have 700 people on the wait list. We have 261 that has signed up. So that's registered accounts. And then we have about 236 monthly active users. We have 73 weekly active users and 11 daily active users. So we have already users, and it's still in a very early stage. So now we are in the beta. So it's still no live trading. Everything is simulated. And we are running a leaderboard right now. The leaderboard is we have all these people here on the leaderboard, and I think there's 27 actually on the leaderboard now. The leaderboard only shows the top 29. I probably have to fix that. And basically the top 3 is gonna win a total prize pool of $100. Yeah, this is gonna run until, say, so 30 days, gonna end at May 15. So if you want to participate in this, you can sign up for the waitlist. Down in the description below, there's a link to the waitlist where you can sign up. And I expect to send out invitations at the end of this week, probably gonna be tomorrow. So if you want to participate in this, you have the chance. We still have actually more than 2 weeks left. So yeah, it's absolutely dominated by one person right now. But actually the number 2 only have a profit of 1,000. There's still it's very much possible to get in on the top of the leaderboard here. And yeah, when you run your bots, let me see if I can find. I don't even know if I have a running bot right now. I don't think. Oh, actually, I do have. Yeah, it's gonna look something like this. So it also include the whole infrastructure. So you can deploy a bot and follow along the live monitor. It's gonna look something like this, and it's actually gonna show you a lot of different data. So you can see here how it's gonna show the up and down price live, and it's gonna show you the stop loss and take profit lines. Now I think this one already exited, that's why we can't see the exit line here, but you can see it's otherwise gonna show the lines. For take profit, you have an event terminal, and this is very much verbose right now, so you can see exactly what's going on. We have a live order book as well. You can see the external price here, and then it's going to automatically switch to the next market if you have a recurring market here. And then you can see the past orders here. Now this one doesn't have that many, so you can follow along there. You can also see if you go to the sessions, you can also see the performance of all the different. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, my performance is not that great, but a lot of this is also for testing basically. And you can go into any of these and take a look at the performance. You have an equity curve, drawdown. You have different metrics. You have the trade log. Yeah, so that's the state of Raven right now. And yeah, it's been working on this for since January actually, and it's been about 3.5 months now. So yeah, we are still very much in progress, and we're getting closer, but there's still like a lot of important things I want to fix, and I want to give sort of an overview of that, I think, today, and what I've been dealing with. Yeah, so basically we have one major issue that I'm trying to address is kind of twofold. So I'm gonna explain a little bit how Raven currently is actually. Let me see here if I can find Figma. Okay, so I'm just gonna explain a little bit about how I deploy the bots, because basically when you click deploy, it's gonna be hosted in its own container. So let's say you click on deploy for your trading strategy. There's actually two modes. So we have two different modes. So this is live and this is simulation. Let's see if I can put this. So if it's simulation, it's gonna go into a sim host. I'm gonna explain what that is. And then when you click live, it's on its own container. Okay, so the sim host is a Docker container. Let me see if I can explain this. So the Docker container is like this, and this is actually shared. Why does it keep doing that? This is shared between several users. And the reason I did this, because now we do a simulation, and it's actually quite resource intensive. So if everybody had their own container on this current server, yeah, it probably would work right now because we don't have that many users, but it could potentially cause it's a 128 gigabytes server, and each container is probably like 500 megabyte of RAM, right? So we could at this current state handle it because we don't have that many bots. Like we have, as you say, like we have probably at any one time a few. Let me see if I can find that. That doesn't matter. But yeah, that's why I've done it like this. However, if it's a single container, it just runs on its own. I think the sim host right now, I did it so it only supports 5 bots, about 5 bots. This one is just a single one. It also allows, with this architecture, it allows us to kind of easily deploy it on its own server. So right now it's deployed. Everything's deployed on the same server. It's in Finland, which is probably not the server that we're gonna use for live trading, because the latency is not too bad compared to other servers, but it could be better. And I think today I'm also gonna go a little bit into detail about the work I do on latency, because I've been doing some testing. I also did a video on YouTube about latency, and I've actually been working more on this. I'm gonna show, and I had a test running last night. I'm also gonna show, so hopefully we'll have time for that today. Okay, so that's that. And then one issue with this kind of setup here, which we've been talking about in this Discord, we've been talking about this on YouTube, is the WebSockets. Okay, so the WebSockets. So right now, each bot gets its own connection. So each bot actually gets 3 connections. Now, if we have, now we have, where is it? We go back to the statistics. We have, actually I should have a data about how many bots is active, but let's say we have 73 bots active. Actually, each user can have 2 bots. Now, every user is not gonna deploy 2 bots. So let's say we have, it's probably the daily active user, maybe not. Let's say we have 73 bots, just as an example. So that's 73 times 3. So what is that? That is 73, 219 connections, potentially. Now, 219 connections, there's a high chance that the server is going to get rate limited, maybe even blocked. It hasn't been an issue right now, as I'm aware of, at least. But it's not a good setup. Something I need to fix. I am working on it. I actually have a change already in place, and this change comes as inspiration also from a user in the Discord. So let's say that, how can I explain this? So this is the current setup we have now. The new one, I'm actually gonna go use Redis, because we already have Redis, but we could also use something else. So we have an event data layer. That's at least what I'm working on now. The event data layer is going to subscribe, keep connection. Let's see, keep a... So that one is going to keep a recurring connection to Polymarket's WebSocket. And this one here, now this is the important part, and this kind of fits into the talk we've had about latencies and connections. The ideal setup is something like 5 to 10 connections, actually. So you can watch the video I did a few days ago. The ideal setup for WebSocket connections, if you want to improve latency and data quality and not have too many data gaps, is having 5 to 10 connections. So we actually need to increase. We actually need to increase our connections. So if we had it like this, so if I had to have the ideal setup today, it would be, let's say, 73 times 5. So that's 365. or 700 connections. Okay, that's a lot of connections, and that's just not scalable. So we'll have this connection. We just have one connection now, or actually 5 to 10, probably gonna be 10 connections. And we're gonna keep that in a data layer. This one is connected with Redis, and then all the bots here is going to subscribe to that layer. Okay, so instead of subscribing directly to the WebSocket, they're gonna subscribe to they're not gonna subscribe directly to Redis actually, so this is actually wrong. Let me do like this, something like this. Okay. This is much more scalable. Now, so the way it's gonna work is we're gonna have just gonna have a connection running, and then let's say that this bot wanna connect. It's gonna connect through the data layer here, and then this data layer is gonna make sure that this new marketer token is gonna be subscribed to this recurring connection up here. And then this one here subscribes to the specific events, and this one is gonna make sure that it's gonna be filled to the correct bots. So in this case, we can maintain a much more stable connection instead of managing, you know, 200 to 700 connections, which is crazy and not scalable. We can maintain maybe 10 or even 15 connections that all these different bots are subscribing to. Yeah. So that's the plan. I already have a feature in place that I'm probably gonna test today. Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do now is yeah, actually, so I want to talk about latency, but actually was an X post I want to talk about as well. So let's see, this guy here, Josh. I think actually this is an interesting post here. So Josh here is basically writing, so it's his third week as Vice President of Engineering DeFi at Polymarket. And I'm going to be straight, the traction Polymarket has seen has massively outpaced our infrastructure. And we haven't done nearly enough to scale to keep up. I hear you, and fixing this is our entire focus. We are a major company now, and we need to engineer like one. Here's exactly what we're doing. So he has a lot of stuff in pipeline that they're gonna be working on to improve the infrastructure here. So the on-chain data latency, we're working on making this near instant, so the experience is incredible. Chain migration, this is the big one, right? Chain migration, we need more block space, cheaper gas, and much smaller block times, so settlement is instant. So now they released the central limit order book version 2, where we have to migrate the USDC-E to PUSD. But now they're talking about a completely new chain. So that's a big change. And then transactions are getting cancelled. We understand this is one of the most frustrating issues right now, and we have a complete fix coming very soon. This might be related to the ghost fills. I think it probably is. But I did experience this when I did some trading where it would be cancelled. And that's frustrating. Massive focus on the website to make it fast, more responsive, and build better UX. We added observability everywhere, proper alerting so we can catch issues ourselves. Market makers should not be the one telling us something is down. End-to-end test throughout, starting with a CLOB, so issue get caught in CR before anything ships. So apparently they have had an issue with quality, you know, and now they're stepping up their game to test it to better do. Yeah, so that's good to hear at least. But it sounds like they didn't have good monitoring before, and maybe good enough test flows, whatnot. And then Central Limit Order Book V2 is not a rewrite. It won't improve performance and stability on its own. It's an upgrade that unlocks us to move fast right after. We'll do it better with communication next time. This is also a big one because this kind of contradicts at least my understanding of what this was. I thought it was a rewrite, and I thought it would improve performance and stability. But he's saying it's not. But it seems like it's laying the foundation so that it can be improved. Yeah, so... And then it's kind of also weird here, right? Because we are rebuilding the CLOB from the ground up. Most important thing we are doing. Without it, we can't be the best DeFi exchange in the world. We know it, we're on it. It's mission critical. It's interesting what he writes here, because I thought they did this already. Like, they already released, we have the V2 already. Is he talking about V2 or is he talking about something else? Right, because it's how's it going, guys? Welcome to the stream. And I can't, so I'm seeing this. We can't be the best DeFi exchange in the world. I feel like Polymarket is moving away from prediction markets actually, because they just announced the perps, so they're going in direct competition with something like Binance, and now he's saying directly we can't be the best DeFi exchange in the world, a DeFi exchange. So it's not a prediction market anymore, or what? So I feel like Polymarket is going towards more mainstream DeFi exchange, a little bit away from prediction markets. It's kind of getting, seems like everybody's doing, and then the DeFi exchange is going more into prediction markets. So they're all kind of becoming the same thing. So it's yeah. And then they have a unified TypeScript SDK for all APIs. So I did read about this. I can't remember where. So they're gonna unify the Gamma API and all these different SDKs, but it's only gonna be in TypeScript, which I'm, at least for now, which I'm a little bit sad about because I do mine in Python. But we'll see if they're gonna do this in Python. Yeah, and then unified API, one WebSocket connection for everything. That's cool, because the WebSocket is kind of strange a little bit today, but yeah, it's cool. New Polymarket contract works that unlocks things that are simply impossible on the current protocol. And then they're gonna do some new hires, smaller teams, working close with customer support, proper communication. Yeah, they have been good with communication thus far. Security, and then the perps incoming. Brand new contracts and backend built from scratch in Rust. Yeah. That's, I mean, that's good to hear. Can I? Ah, where did it go now? I want to make a question here. Are we gonna? Yeah, so the ghost fills is they should fix it in CLOB V2 here. So Polymarket. Now let's see. So I think it's mentioned. They don't mention it specifically, but what the specific fix is the order fields here. So before, there's actually two things. So before we have the nonce. So the ghost fills was something like where you could change the nonce for an order and then it would be cancelled or something like that, and they could, you know, manipulate that. But you can't do that with a timestamp anymore, because to cancel an order there would be like some kind of a delay now or something like that. I'm not really I haven't really experienced myself, I think, exactly, but this at least is my understanding that this should be the fix actually from nonce to timestamp. And then there was some kind of a pause function on the new contract that should I don't think it's specified here actually. That's also changed. That should help with the ghost fills. So I think the new changes here should fix a lot of that. But again, if we go back to the X, where is it? This one here. It kind of worries me a little bit that they say it won't improve performance or stability on its own. I thought it kind of would, but we'll see. But it says it's an upgrade that unlocks us to move fast right after. So it seems like the new version here is gonna have the potential for new like capabilities or upgrades later down the road. Maybe it's a little bit more future-proof. I'm kind of confused with Polymarket's fee structure. Do buy orders on esports order books have fees if they fill? Do buy orders on... Yeah, so... where's Polymarket? Let me see if we can Google Polymarket fees. I think it is on esports as well. Crypto, sports, finance, politics, economics, culture, weather, other mentioned tech. Okay, I think actually there's no fees. So I think for esports they actually don't have a fee. Yeah. So but then if there was a fee, the way it would work is there's a maker and a taker fee rate. So if you pay fee, it would depend if you take an order or make the order. So if you go to mega rebates, rewards, it does say there's mega rebate here actually. So you probably have to call the API to get that information. Maybe it's not up to date, this one here. Am I just not seeing it on other general? Or maybe it's within other or general. So I think there is basic fees on everything. And yeah, and I mean, if you place a bid, let's say you place a bid around here 7 cents, you won't pay any fees on that. But if you placed here, okay, now this spread here is crazy, so this is a bad example. But if you actually went and placed placed an order here to take it right away, you would pay a fee on that. So that's the difference. You are basically a maker if you place limit orders on this side of the book here. But if you cross the spread over to the S side and buy directly as a taker, you would pay a fee on it. Now, if you place, you can see here we have the mega rebates on this one here. So if you placed bids here and it would be taken, you know, in the future, you would get a rebate. Actually, you would actually get make money on that. But the spread here is crazy, so this is a very bad example. But yeah, but I think there is fees on it, because I think it's just, since it has mega rebate, it has fees. So there is fees on esports. I think it's just within the other in general. It's not specified in the list here. So yeah, or maybe it's within sports. Yeah. Okay. So how do you handle the residues? I mean, sometimes when I sell, yeah, I get exactly the same issue, and honestly, it's just the residue. I haven't done anything about it. It's just there. I think it's such a small amount of dust that it has no value. So I think it's just you know, a crypto thing that it happens all the time. So I had the same experience, and I don't do anything about it right now. I don't know if there's anything to do about it actually. But it's such a small amount that it doesn't really matter. But a maker generally have 0 fees. Yeah, that's my understanding, that a maker has 0 fees, and but there's a rebate. where you can actually make money. So you get a part of the fees that's paid. Because you can see if you go to... Yeah, you can see here the maker fee rate. The maker fee rate is 0. And then you have the taker fee rate, which is over here. And then it's calculated with a formula. So you can see it's all different on the different. And then if you take the closer you are in the middle, so this is the price, right? So 50 cents. You're gonna pay the most fees. But if you go towards the edges, it's gonna be less and less. And yeah, so the makers have 0 fees, and then they actually get 20%, 25%, and so on of the taker fees. So it incentivizes people. It basically incentivizes liquidity on the order book. And liquidity is important for Polymarket to make trading fair. You can see the example here if you go back to this one here. This one don't have a lot of liquidity, and that's why you have such a big spread. Nobody want to trade on this one, and that's why they have these incentives. They have both the you can sponsor rewards on this, so it can attract more liquidity, and that's gonna make the spread smaller, and yeah, make rebates. The difference between a maker and a taker is basically where on the order book you place your orders. So you have the spread here. So the ask is people that want to sell, and the bids is people want to buy. So let's say that you place your orders. If you want to buy something, you can place your orders on the bid side here, but they won't be executed right away because they are not on the ask side. But let's say that if you went and bought on 40 cents instead of the 7 cents, it would be taken right away, and then you become a taker. So basically it depends on if you are on this side of the order book, you are maker. If you are on this side of the order book, you are taker basically. So you can see here that if I place my order here in 40 cents, it would basically be taken right away, because the people are asking 40 cents for their shares right now. Yeah. This is why something about, but it's not right after. So. Yeah, exactly. So if it takes some time, most often it's because you basically put it exactly on. Like if I put a buy order now on 7 cents, it's probably not gonna get filled right away. It's gonna take a while, maybe not gonna get filled at all. But if I actually put my buy order on 40 cents, it would be filled right away, and I would be a taker. And you can also, in the APIs, you can check whether you are maker or taker actually. So there's some, I think it's the scoring. There's I think there's an order scoring. Maybe this one here. Oh no, sorry, that's about rewards. But yeah, you can check it in the API actually if the order is maker or taker if you have a trading bot. It also says the UI X shares available right now. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. If you do a limit for 40 cents at 8 shares. So yeah, that's a good question. But most often what you would see is when you place orders that it's gonna take a little bit from here, and it's gonna take a little bit from here, so it's gonna move the order book a little bit up. So sometimes you'll see that you will probably get filled, and it also depends on the order type. So you can experience where it's gonna fill 7.12 shares here and then take the remaining shares from here. You can also change. I don't know if you can do it here. Oh fuck, market. Okay, but in the settings, you can go to your settings. What you can do is you can change the order type to force it to basically fill the full amount. So if it cannot fill the full amount, it's not going to execute at all. You can also change it so it just takes whatever is available. So it's going to take just 7.12 and not the remaining, you know, 88. Usually, how do you handle profit versus stop loss? I mean, currently, as soon as I see a good feedback from the model, I buy something. After this moment, how do I handle profit? Well, there's many different ways you can do that. So the way that I have handled it in Raven is with, well, I mean, basically I take profit, right? This is what I would normally do. So if, for example, in Raven, there is 2 ways. So of course there's a stop loss. What I would often do is put a trailing stop loss. So for example, a 10% stop loss trailing. So that means that the stop loss would follow the price increase. And then there's also a take profit. For example, 20%. That is, let me zoom in here. That's how most people do it. You can also just manually execute a sell order. For example here, I'm not going to go too much into detail because this really depends on the strategy, but for example this, and then you can manually put a sell order. Yeah, Matthew, the 80 would be cancelled depending on the order type. Yeah, so there's different order types. I think you can. So if you do manual trading on Polymarket, you can set this in your settings. If you do it with the API, you can set it on the order. So good till cancelled order type, it's gonna rest on the book until it filled or cancelled. That's the typical one. And then this one is for a date. But then here we have fill or kill. So this one must be filled immediately and entirely. So if you cannot find the full amount, it's just gonna get cancelled. And then there's fill and kill, where it's gonna fill as many shares as available immediately, then cancels any unfilled remainder. Yeah. And this one, good till cancel, it can also keep resting on the order book. So if you place, let's say you place 8 shares at 40, then you could see that it fills these 7.12, and then the remaining is just gonna wait until there's available liquidity. So it really depends on the order type that you select here, how it's gonna behave and stuff like that. Trailing, trailing stop loss. I think it's easiest if you just show it on the chart. Let's go to Bitcoin just for the sake of example here. So for example, if let's say that you put your stop loss, let's say if I buy here and I put my stop loss here, and then if the price then increases, let's say the price increase, the price is gonna go up here, then the trailing stop loss is actually gonna follow the price up. So if you go up here, the stop loss is maybe gonna move up here. Like this. So the stop loss basically just follow the price, and then if the price moves down again, it's gonna get stopped up. Right? So it's gonna get stopped out here instead of here. So then you actually took a profit. That's basically how the stop loss works. So it's just gonna follow up the price like that. That's the best I can explain it. And yeah, so that's something I added in Raven. I can't. It's a little bit difficult to show it actually because I don't really have. See this one here. You can see this line here is the stop. Is actually the take profit. Nah, the stop loss. I can't really show it here. But yeah, but the stop loss will just follow. All right, no worries, man. All right, so yeah, any other question? Just fire away. So I was explaining just before here in Figma my whole setup and with these different connections and latency. So I think actually I have, maybe I can check that now. So I have a testing server right now. I think the test should be done now. Hope it didn't break. Yeah, okay. Make server. I think this should be or 12. This one here, so that's 6. 12, 6, 2, 0, 4, 4, 2. Yeah, okay, number 6 is the most recent. So I think I will share this benchmark maybe on YouTube later. So basically it can do I'm basically testing the WebSockets. Let me see. Yeah. So I ran a test of different. So I already did a video actually about this on YouTube, but I've been continuing testing. Let me see if I can find the video here. Yeah, I did this video here. Single Polymark WebSocket isn't enough. So I'm testing 1 versus 10 connections, and I'm still doing this. I'm still testing this out. And last night I started a new test with different configurations, and this is the results here. So I'm just gonna go through that. So yeah, you can see here, and it's ran for 43,200 seconds. So that is 12. I think it's 12 hours. And I ran 18 connections in total. And this is on a server in the closest server you can get to Polymarket server. It's in Ireland. I think it's in Dublin on AWS. So I have 1 WebSocket, 2 WebSockets, 5, and then 10 WebSockets. It's on the Bitcoin 5-minute market. And yeah. Let me see if there is. Yeah. So the 10 WebSocket connection had actually 100% coverage, so there was no data loss at all. Of course, 5, 2, and 1 connection had a little bit data loss, so 0.1, 0.1, 0.3. Yeah, so the WebSockets, you use that to trade. That's the fastest way of getting the price updates. So every time you can subscribe to different data in the WebSocket, but every time there's anything that changes something on the order book, you can get an event, and then you can execute your bot based on that event. So this is what all trading bots do, and it's quite important to have a fast connection and have this set up properly. And that's why I do these tests, and just to figure out what is the ideal setup. And I mean, this test here actually shows a lot of things. So you can see here, we had 100% coverage, so no data loss. And this can be an issue. If you have just one WebSocket, you can lose some data. And that can be, you know, that can be everything for a trading strategy. And you can see first seen, so of all topologies, of all the different WebSockets, who saw an event first? And that's the 10 WebSockets here. So it's in 62.3% of the time it saw the event first. So I'm actually quite surprised about Arrival P95 here, which is... Now, I think here this doesn't make any sense. There's definitely something wrong here with the freshness. That's seconds. That's very, very slow. And this one here, Arrival. The freshness. Let me see what else we have. I want to see these here. Okay, this one. Okay, that's interesting. So the median freshness, this is basically latency, okay? So the median latency looks correct to me. So 12.9 milliseconds. So the way we measure this is we compare the time we receive an event with the timestamp on the Polymarket event from the WebSocket. And of course, you need to sync your server before this is accurate. So going from one WebSocket to 10 WebSockets, you decrease the latency by about 3 milliseconds, which it might not matter, or it might matter, depending on your strategy, right? But since then, yeah, so it's... And and then the freshness or the latency, the 95 percentile, is very high now. As in my test I did yesterday and the day before, these numbers was around, I think around 300 milliseconds. But now it's 1.5 milliseconds. So that means that some events is actually like 5% is slower than this. So there's some events that's really, really slow. And then I think actually what I want to do with Raven is to make an option to not trade on these events. Like if an event is so old, maybe we don't even want to trade on it at all. So actually I want to make an issue about that just to remind myself about this. Skip slow events. In some cases, the slowest events is really slow. Make an option in Raven to not trade on events that is slower than XYZ. I think we actually have some kind of a setting for this. I need to check if this works. So I think we have actually this setting. Rate limits. Max signal age. Nah, okay, that's for signals. Okay. Yeah, we have this one here, max signal age, but that is for signals. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. So I still need this issue just to check up on that. Did I create it? Yeah, I did, yeah. Okay. I'm trying to build an arbitrage bot between Polymarket and Kalshi. The main issue I found is that prices between the two platforms often differ. Do you have any alternative ideas, Strat? Well, what do you mean about the prices between the two platforms differ? Isn't that the whole point about doing the arbitrage? Like, you want the price to be different on those markets because you can use that in the strategy. What issue specifically do you have with the prices being different? Because this is typically what we are looking for when we are doing an arbitrage bot. So maybe you mean something different. If you can elaborate on that, and I'm gonna give you my take on it. The target is different. Ah, so it's like... Is it like the outcome if you go to 15-minute markets? So like the price to beat maybe is different and the time stamps are different. Is that what you mean? Between Kalshi and Polymarket? Is it, you mean the price to beat? Or the actual price over here? Okay, the timestamp are okay. Because as long as the timestamps are the same and the price to beat, so you should be able to, maybe the price to beat is not the same depending on this, on the oracle that they use. But if you see the prices, let's say it's here it's 55, but on Kalshi it's 52 or something like that, you should be able to do an arbitrage where you buy on both platforms at the same time, as long as the combined value of up and down is less than $1, including fees and stuff like that. But if because that's kind of the idea behind it, right? If you can buy below $1, also including fees and all that, on both platforms reliably, and they resolve the same way, then you should be able to make a profit. But that's the big question: do they resolve to the same price to beat? I haven't looked into that yet. Like, my plan with Raven is to enable trading on Kalshi, but right now I'm only focused on Polymarket. But in the future it should be possible. That's at least, or maybe other prediction markets as well. But yeah, you want to look for the price differences and then buy on both platforms, either up and down, like both up and down, so you are sure to win on one of the platforms. And then if you do that all the time and you can buy below $1, also including for the fees and stuff, then you should in the long run be able to make a profit. That's at least the idea behind it. Yeah, so we can see here the arrival, we compare the topology. So the topology is down here, so 10 WebSockets, 5 WebSockets, 2 WebSockets, and 1 WebSocket. And then we are measuring milliseconds behind the first seeing topology. So we have the 10 WebSocket topology is 0 milliseconds because it's the one that saw the event first. So the 10 WebSocket topology basically always beats all the other. And then the 5 WebSocket comes half a millisecond after. And then the 2 WebSockets comes like almost 2 milliseconds and then 3.3 milliseconds after. So it's not a lot, but it clearly demonstrates that there's an impact. There's actually a difference. It does make sense to have more than one WebSocket. And then at the edges here, at the 95 percentile, actually is where the difference really matters. So you can see here, actually I don't know why this one is 20, but you can see here how far behind, especially one WebSocket is. So the slowest, so basically what this means is the slowest event, it's basically the slowest events is much slower than the 10 WebSocket topology. I'm still not sure why this one is so high here. It's I feel like there's something wrong with the benchmark since these are so high, but maybe it's actually maybe not, like, because if yeah, I don't know. Let's see. So this is the gap counts in data. So gap runs spans this topology miss while the union was still seeing events. So basically just measured how many runs did it have gaps in the data. So we see in WebSockets that sometimes it doesn't return any data. This is a major issue. And obviously, if you have more WebSockets, it could improve it, and it clearly shows here. So having 10 WebSockets over about 12 hours, we saw 249 gap runs versus 2,586 gap runs in just one WebSocket. And one WebSocket here lost the largest gap events was 9,000. Increasing it to 2 WebSockets actually drastically decreases this. 5 WebSockets for some reason was higher than 2, don't know why, but this, I see this sometimes it kind of fluctuates. And then we have the winner, 10 WebSockets again. Then relative loss events. Relative loss events, total events missed by this topology. So we have, keep in mind there's a lot of events in these 5-minute marks over 12 hours. So the one WebSocket lost 65,000 events. The 10 WebSockets only lost 5,000. Still lost, but compared to how many events, let me see. Doesn't it say how many events we have? Alright, that was in the other report, maybe. Does it say here? No. Okay. Well, we are talking about millions of events. There's usually about a 6% divergence in events, which ends up killing the expected value, like when Calibra resolves up while Polymarket resolves down. Okay, so I'm trying to search. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any suggestions for specific markets. I think that's just, you just have to kind of deploy. If you have a setup already for a trading bot, I would suggest just deploying it on many different markets to test it out, right? Like what I was looking into a little bit was sports betting. But to be completely honest, I really haven't had enough time to look into my own strategies because I'm so focused on Raven. It takes all my time. So what I was looking into, an idea that I think could work is sports betting, either from prediction market to prediction markets, or you could actually do it with a prediction market and then normal bookers, like these normal legacy sports booking websites. They put in high fees though, like a high house edge, so it's not sure if it's possible. And maybe it's difficult to automate, but I think there could be potential there. But it probably requires a little bit more manual trading, especially if you use these legacy sports booking engines, these bookmakers. But I think there could be potential there to combine prediction markets with the legacy bookkeeping bookmakers. Yeah, like what's a big bookmaker, like Big Bets 365 or something like that. I hope okay. Yeah, like something like this, right? They have a lot of, like, it has a lot of stuff. If you can find a way, I don't know if they have an API, but if you could find a way to pass all these different events that they have here on Bet365, for example, and then compare it with Polymarket and Kalshi, there might be arbitrage opportunities like EV plus bets where you're sure to win. I think there's potential there. For example, I think the odds on these websites probably doesn't update as frequently as Polymarket. So if you see an event on Polymarket that changes rapidly, like from 1 minute to another, maybe the bookmakers is not fast enough to update their odds, and you can actually potentially make money on that. But it really depends on if you can automate it. Yeah, I saw there is also an API. Bookmaker. This one here, the odds API. I haven't tried it though. So this is sports betting API covering odds from bookmakers around the world. So maybe you could use this API, combine it with the browsing automation tool that plays the bets automatically. I don't think that's something I'm gonna do in Raven because it's a little bit out of the scope, maybe. But I think I would go in that direction, honestly, like if I wanted to do some arbitrage that's not Bitcoin up and down markets. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna continue a little bit with my latency stuff here. So gap runs, we talked about that. Largest gap. Gap duration. I mean, this is all good. So this report doesn't really give me more information compared to what I saw before. So I think it's all good. I think the conclusion for me, at least for now, and what I'm working on is to do this new setup here that I explained. So where am I with that? Let me see if I can... Oh yeah, actually I want to check something first. So I actually had an issue. I need to make sure I don't show anything I should not. No, it's all good. It's all good. Okay. Yeah, this one is running, so that's fine. We had an issue with background tasks not working for a while, but it's up and running now again, so that's good. Just need to check that. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay, so I think I will continue with a feature that I was working on. Let's see if I could find it now. Actually, wait a minute. I didn't make a plan today for the stream. Actually, I just want to see if I've... Okay, actually, I want to talk about the last piece of my plan here before I start working on a feature was actually talk about my AI flow here. So I'm just going to explain how I use vibe coding, because a lot of people is talking about vibe coding, and it's basically what I'm doing as well, but it's not just vibe coding, it's basically agentic development. So I'm going to explain a little bit about my setup and how I do it. So I use GitHub, and you can see here we have all these different labels, and that's actually something new I just introduced. And I actually have a Mac Mini. I don't know if I can show it. So I have this one here, and it should be running. I just clicked the close button. That was a mistake. But anyway, I have the Mac Mini. Let me see if it... yeah, I have it here. Yeah, so this one is my Mac Mini, and I have Hermes agent running. So Hermes is basically the new Claude bot, and everybody's basically talking about this now. It's Claude bot, but different. I'm basically testing it out now. It's this one here, and I set this up in on my Mac Mini. Which cron jobs do I have running now? So this one currently is connected with Codex. And you can see here we have 3 cron jobs. So we have a Raven triage hourly. So it's an hourly. I'm gonna explain what that is. I have a Raven docs update daily. I'm also going to explain what that is, and then a Raven implement ready for dev hourly. So when I create issues in GitHub, what Hermes is going to do, actually my Mac Mini, is it's going to, for example, this one, it's going to do this soon. It's gonna go in and look at the issue, and it's gonna read whatever is here, and then it's gonna go into the code base, and then it's gonna propose what to do about the issue. Now in this case, it proposes to close it. And then if I have some comment here, what I can do is I can remove the label from here, and then this cron job that runs over on my Mac Mini, it's on all the time. It's actually gonna look at my comment, and then, you know, we just basically ping pong that way until I change some feature here. So maybe if I'm agree with that this should be closed, I can do that manually. But if we have this one here, for example, is ready for dev, so it's gonna basically describe everything and say, oh, this one we can build this feature. What I can do is then I can just remove the label here, the triad label, and then I have this cron job, which is this one here, which is actually gonna look at these. It's gonna look at which one doesn't have this label and have this label, and then it's actually gonna build a feature, and it's gonna create it as a pull request over here. So it's gonna create it as a pull request over here, and then it's up to me manually to actually test it out and make sure that it's good. And then I have a third one, so a daily docs update. So we have documentation for all the users, and this one basically every day is gonna look at all the different commits that happened on, I think it's on the development branch, this branch here, and then it's gonna create updated documentation. So you can see here, this one was open 28 minutes ago, and I think I was streaming at that time, so I didn't do this. It did it automatically. And it says all the covered commits and the different commits that were shipped. You can see here what it actually did. It didn't really do much for this one here. It updated a little bit from some explanation, but basically just updating the documentation, which is, if I go to Raven again, we have this one here, the documentation, and this is basically what it's maintaining, because all the different features I'm building and changes, I want to make sure that that's up to date in the documentation. So that's how that works. And then obviously I use Claude Code and Codex, so I have Codex over here, and I have both subscriptions, so I have Codex here. What you can do is you can just you can create a new work tree, for example, create permanent work tree, and then have Codex run on many different features at one point. And then of course over in Raven here I have Claude. I also have Codex if I want to use Codex. And but I want to try automate as much as possible, where I just do these pull requests automatically. And then basically what I do is I just check and test the pull request. So what we're working on now is this one here, I think. Actually, we have two. Let me just check which one it is, because I was merging these two in. 12 hours, not, no, wait a minute. I have, how do you indicate a setup to iterate them, keep working and create the PS with AI? Well, I mean, it's just a cron job that runs every hour, and then the cron job checks the labels in the issues. So I basically communicate with this cron job and the AI with these different labels here and the comments and stuff like that. I did some changes this morning. I just need to make sure which branch it was. So maybe it's this one here. 25. Yeah, 1 hour ago. This one here. So the issues, yeah. So actually, the way I use, so either I create the issues manually, like I just did. For example, I just created this one here, and then it's gonna be maintained. And then actually in the Discord, now people haven't used this feature yet, but in Discord, people can actually do issue like this. And then let's actually just try to test issue. Maybe I hope it works because nobody used it yet. Let me see. So now we got the report and I have AI reviewing it in the background here. Let's see. And then I can add details, or I can submit it as is. Then create issue. And then let's go back to GitHub. And you can see we have test issue here now. So this one is a user generated. Now users, they haven't done this yet, but now people in Discord can actually create their own issue in here. But they need to have their specific role, their Raven role. I'm just gonna delete this one here again. Can I just delete it? So the good thing about building in public and doing these live streams and having this Discord is actually people is actually using Raven. And there's so many edge cases that it would be impossible for me to actually test all this out by myself. And that's kind of why I also did this leaderboard. So I'm putting my own money on the line, right? I'm giving away $100 for the leaderboard here. And the way I'm looking at this is I'm basically paying $100 to have a lot of people testing this out. And it's, yeah, good. Yeah, so it's a lot of people want to. We still have bugs, but people also want to do live trading. I'm kind of worried a little bit about live trading because I want to make sure that there's no bugs before we live trade. What? Humi had 25,000. I think that is probably a mistake. Now he's gone down here. I have to look into. Let me see. Conciliation. So there is a job running in the background that basically checks and fixes balances. Let me see. Like this. I need to close my tabs down here. So much stuff. All right, but will be later as I'm streaming now. All right. Yeah, so I have to check that a little bit later because I will have to go into the database and I don't want to show that on stream. So this is some of the issues we've had where sometimes the balance is what it wasn't calculated correctly and not carried over correctly. I'm not sure what's going on with this guy though, why it would why that would matter. I mean, why it would change so much. So I have to check that. I think it comes after I enable the background jobs because let me see. I don't think I have anything that shows. Stale. Okay. All right. Yeah, I have to check that a little bit later. I don't want to go into the database on a stream because I need to check the actual database. So so I'll check that later. So I think for the remainder of this stream, I'm just going to see if I can test out this new feature here. Let me see if I have it up and running. I do have, okay. And there's something I need to set though. Should be this. Now I need to remove this. I don't want to show my env. Wait, this is fine, right? Yep. All right, so I need to be careful about what I'm showing here. I don't want to show everything. Okay. What you said, so we have to set this, I just did that, auto operation edit, start the publisher first without a buffer spin waiting for snapshots. That's ready. Yeah, let me just, oh. Okay. Let me see. We have Redis up and running. Let's go. Localhost. Okay. So far not working. Let's see if we have anything in the API. Okay. I have set the envs and I have made Docker again, but when I deploy a bot, I don't see any data flowing through it. How to verify the shared feed bot logs? Shared feed register consumer ID, not direct bot logs. Let me see if we have bot logs. Quick check. Shared feed publisher. Okay. Publish isn't running double share feed just ends without it. Okay. This pool drop shared feed ends your bot. Yeah, the Sheminis pool builds its own and via allow list. This needs one line fix. Yes, fix. It should support both Symhost and regular containers. Okay. Okay, let me see. I should be able to just do make. I'm not seeing... Not seeing the service coming up. Confirm the new sim host has the ENV. Big Docker. No. Extend. Make Docker, please. Yeah. Just need all of them to run. Add shared live feed. Add shared, so... This one, I think we can close it. No. That's one. So I think it's this one I can close it because it's I merged them into each other. This is a duplicate as I yeah. Yeah, we have it here. Okay. Yeah, so now we have this service here, Shared Feed Publisher. So that's the one that's gonna handle the website connections. And I can see that it does connect to Polymarket here, the WebSockets. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try test it out now by deploying a bot again. Okay, let me just delete these here. So we are getting data actually, so that looks great. Let's do the logs. Okay. The only way to get those cached been last round, this round. The wrapping part is silent, which is what made this hard to debug. One line info. Yep, please go ahead. I don't believe it has been that easy to refactor it to such an extent, so it definitely requires more testing. So I'm probably going to deploy it on development soon and then test some more. Make sure that everything works as expected. And then I'll have... So all existing bots, when I deploy this feature, how are they gonna handle this? Are they able to keep the current connections that they have, or do we have to roll the current bots over forcefully? Short answer, existing bots keep the current connections. They will not migrate to shared feed on their own. No force rule needed. You can drain naturally. Wide safe. Deploy the PR, confirm publish comes up health, and new deployed bot show the new info log line. Don't touch live bots. They drain naturally as you stop deploy. Simhost, either let TTL reap them or recycle them to ones doing off hours. Okay. Alright. I don't think we did any changes about the WebSockets. That's kind of next step, I think. But I think I'll wait to do that. First, let's make sure that this actually works properly. And then when that works, I can start to optimize the WebSocket connection. So we have 10 recurring connections. So I think next step is I will deploy this to development. And yeah, and just do some testing. Okay. All right. That is now pushed, and I will merge it in this one. I just want to make sure that I have running bots. So I want to make sure I have some bots running on development and see if they get disrupted. So I have this one here running and this one here. Two hours. Okay. Let's just open one more maybe. I just open this one here. Alright, so let's just make sure that this one here is running, and then if that's running, I will merge into development, and then first I will see if these bots is getting disrupted in any way, and then I'm gonna deploy new bots and verify that it runs on the shared data layer. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's running. And then this one Yes. All right. Good. It's getting merged in now, and I think that's it. Good. All right. I'm just gonna see if it actually creates this service, or actually I forgot to add the inf, so I'm just gonna not show this here. Let me put it over here. And where is this one as well? Yeah, so there's some information I need to set. I cannot show this on stream. This. Okay. Now I'm gonna redeploy again. Like this, and we'll see. And the bot is still running. So now it's, yeah, so it's deploying now. That's why we see a load failed. It should come. Yeah. All right, so the bot here is still running. And I'm not seeing the new service actually here on staging. It's probably because it's the wrong Redis URL maybe. Let's see. I have just deployed now to staging, but I'm not seeing the new service running. I already set the environment variables. And then... it's probably, I think the Redis URL is maybe different. Found decomposed behind profiles, shared feed, and Dogbot doesn't activate shared feed profile by default, so the service silently skipped it in staging. Local farm because Makefile passes. Ah, okay. Profile, okay. Alright, let's see. Ah, it deployed on the wrong branch. God damn it. Can you please make this change on development? I already merged it into development. What did he say? Push to a shared branch and hard to reverse blast radius action. Cherry pick landed clearly. Chlorophyl's gate is gone. Only the service name appears. Shared feed, okay. Yep. And I can see now it's deploying on development. So let's see if we got it. Yeah, so I see we have a shared feed publisher now running. Okay. Let's see, we have all bots still running fine. So what I'm gonna do now is deploy another bot and see if that runs on the shared feed publisher. I don't think it's working. Let's see if... No, something's definitely wrong. Okay. I just deployed the shared feed publisher onto staging, and the first spot I deployed does not work, I think. These are the logs. The shared feed publisher container is up and running and has the following logs. Okay, let me see if... Oh, so... C32. Oh, yeah, so this... Ah, okay. It actually did error out, but now it automatically redeployed. That's actually a feature. But why would it... Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, okay. I see there's actually a traceback here. Yeah, okay. So there's an error, actually. Did it catch that? I think it did. Let's see. Yeah. All right, right. Just stop. Okay. Yeah, so that's definitely gonna take a while to make sure that that works properly. It's gonna take a while to test that out. And the next step is going to be... Skip sleep. Okay, I'm gonna do a new issue. Improve WebSockets setup. Need at least 10 recurring connections in the shared feed publisher. I think actually I did have codecs map it out, or did I remove that? Nope, nope, nope. Oh, okay. I don't have that here. All right, I'll just keep that is as is. Oh, it doesn't see all the logs or what? I think it's this one here. Ah. Okay, so that's annoying. There's something about the logs too. So now that I stopped it, I don't see that error log anymore. I need to start it again. Should be this one here. Yeah, this one. Yeah, it can't find it's the Redis URL that's broken, I think. I mean, it's not broken, it's just the wrong URL. It has a different URL internally inside of Docker. I'm actually not sure what it is. Maybe I can see it here. Actually, I do have it here. Yeah, I have it here, so I should be able to just update this. Yeah, so it's the URL for the Redis instance that was wrong. I will try reload everything and see if it works again. It's probably also what it's gonna say, right? Yeah. So I think when this is deployed, I'm just gonna check if that works. And then I'll stop the stream for now. I need probably some coffee and a breakfast. Let's see. And then I need to help this other guy out from Discord. We had an issue with this guy losing his balance. I need to check exactly what happened. So I'm gonna do that also after the stream. Let's see. It's deploying right now. And okay, it's deployed now. So let's see. I have this one here. Okay, I'll redeploy this. And let's see if it works now after updated the Redis URL. What happened? Yeah, here we go. Okay. Still no data though. So there's something still broken. Okay, it did error out again. So where is it? This one here. It should be. I can't tell here. Two things where the URL really comes from. I updated the Redis URL and get the following errors now. Are we sure about this? Let me just stop. Just want to double check. Delete some of this. Okay. This one don't want to delete one. What's going on? See if I can see something in the logs here. Okay. Okay, definitely not working. Please confirm the issue. All right, I think with that set, I will close now, and yeah, I think that's it. I'll just have that cook for a while, and I need to test this out a little bit more too. So thank you everybody for checking in. And see you at the next stream. Bye bye.